Hot and humid weather continues for this final week of summer across the state of Texas, but we do have rain chances to talk about for some of y'all in the north and some of y'all near the coast. Let's do that in this Monday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Hello and happy Monday. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. Thank you for taking time out of your day to pop on in for some Texas weather Baldy-in-Chiefisms here on the Texas Storm Chasers Weather Center YouTube channel. Really do appreciate you taking time out of your day, and if you would be so kind and it isn't too much of an inconvenience, hit that like button to let YouTube know that we're putting out some good content, and that helps us out by showing our video to more folks. And that's what we call organic growth. Let's get into the weather forecast. And, well, for today, the opportunity for isolated showers and maybe a few storms across the state. Overall rain chances are under 10% for any given location, about 10 to 15%, meaning a good chunk of y'all are not going to see rain today. But don't be surprised if we have some pop-ups occur, especially across the eastern half of Texas, down towards the Texas Gulf Coast, out into the Big Bend and the Trans-Pecos. Looks like Panhandle, most of West Texas will stay dry today. We may have some activity try to move in from New Mexico near Andrews late this evening. Widespread severe storms, heavy rain, etc. not expected. Tuesday afternoon through about dinner time, eastern half of the state, about a 20, maybe 30% chance of a pop-up storm nearby y'all. Texas Gulf Coast, and typical activity. We could see afternoon showers and storms before those die off near dinner time. And then going into Tuesday night and Wednesday, we're expecting an uptick in potential thunderstorm chances in the Panhandle into parts of West Texas. And that's going to be thanks to moisture increasing from a few sources. Wildfire danger over the next few days from the Texas A&M Forest Service as we begin the yawn counter, since I have yawned like 3 times. Some days it's just difficult not to suppress them. Sorry. Low to moderate fire danger for most folks, so hopefully we can keep it that way. Here's the National Hurricane Center tropical weather outlook for the Atlantic Basin over the next 7 days. A high probability of a system developing out in the open Atlantic, well east of the Lesser Antilles. At this point, model data, if it develops, is pretty strongly indicating that'll be a fish storm recurving out in the open Atlantic. We'll keep an eye on it, though, but that probably will become Gabrielle. Now, as we continue into the eastern Pacific, we have 2 systems of note. Mario is off the coast of Baja California, southwest of the tip of Baja California by several hundred miles, moving northwest. Behind it, a medium chance of a system developing in its wake. And we'll have to see if we get any remnant moisture from any of that, or any moisture at all. And the reason I say that will become a little apparent as we switch over to 500 millibar chart. These are winds at 18,500 feet above sea level from the European weather model over the next 7 days. We're going to have, generally speaking, weak westerly winds aloft over the next several days. Weak west and northwesterly winds originating out of the southwestern United States. And depending on the eventual track demise location of Mario and whatever comes behind it, we may be able to pick up a little bit of moisture from that. Now, at this point, not something that, we're expecting to be tropical, mischief-related, any of that, but just something we're keeping an eye on down the road. Otherwise, going into Sunday and Monday, you can see we kind of develop a little bit of a dip in the jet stream, a little bit of a kicker there coming on in, and that may allow for an uptick in rain chances, perhaps. If nothing else, we may get at least a bit of a weak cool front, but we're definitely starting to switch into more of a early fall look without the upper level heat dome overhead. So with that, I'd expect to start seeing, well, at least a continuation of thunderstorm chances, if not maybe an uptick in them heading into next week. We'll see, right? I mean, we're heading into fall. Sometimes it's, just like a switch flips and you go from all hunky-dory, happy-dory to, oh, look, it's Crashy the cold front. Let's have a line of storms. Some months, it's far more subtle. We'll just have to wait and see. But let's take a look at the precipitation outlook over the next several days from the European weather model, you could see Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday, thunderstorm chances, Panhandle, West Texas. You could see we'll have to keep an eye up in Oklahoma for southward moving thunderstorm complexes that could make a run at the Red River Thursday night and Friday morning. This data suggests some of those may actually make it into North Texas, Northeast Texas. We'll have to see. Saturday morning, similar story. You could see this showing a bit of a signal for that, a southward moving cluster that tries to make its way south, then makes it down to West Texas. But again, overall scheme over the next several days, we'll be watching for thunderstorm complexes developing in Kansas and Colorado, trying to move south across Oklahoma, maybe infringing on parts of the Texas Panhandle and the Red River across northwest Texas, Texoma, northeast Texas. But we could also see afternoon pop-ups continue eastern half of the state on an isolated basis, and, of course, isolated thunderstorms during the afternoon across parts of the Big Bend, Trans-Pecos, Permian Basin, West Texas as well. So here is the Weather Prediction Center's 5-day precipitation outlook. And again, don't get bogged down on these specific numbers here. That's just automatic data output. What we're looking at here, though, is a corridor of maybe 1/4 to maybe 1.5 inch rain totals. The Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma, Kansas, southeastern Colorado, with lower rainfall amounts generally could find areas along the north of Highway 380 to Interstate 20, transitioning across North Texas. So Lubbock to Graham, DFW, Tyler, points north. Best chance, relatively speaking, of maybe at least 1/4 inch of rain over the next 5 days. Otherwise, we do note along the Texas Gulf Coast, another relative maxima in potential for maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch rain totals. It will be far more hit and miss on this map, by the way, than what is shown here. So it'll be one of those things, as usual, where your neighbor may get 1/2 inch of rain, you may get a sprinkle. Or y'all may get nothing at all. Don't you love weather? High temperatures over the next 5 days. We're looking at generally a little above average temperatures for mid-September now. Those relative averages starting to decrease a bit day by day as we start losing out on daylight. But we're still going to have highs upper 80s to low 90s, western third of Texas, eastern 2/3 of Texas. We're looking at low, mid, and even some upper 90s, with upper 90s especially down in the Edwards Plateau and south central Texas. On Tuesday, similar story. Wednesday, starting to see a little less hot up in the Panhandle. Temperatures trending down into the low to mid 80s for high temperatures in the Panhandle, West Texas. That'll be thanks to an uptick in rain chances, cloud cover, and maybe a weak cool front trying to move in. Otherwise, southeastern 75% of Texas, upper 80s and 90s continue with humid air. Heading into Thursday, you can kind of see it doesn't change all that much outside of the Panhandle, where highs are now in the 70s instead of 80s. 83 in Lubbock, but everyone else, we're still in the 80s and 90s. In fact, Laredo's trying to flirt with triple digits again here by Thursday. High of 98, 95 in San Antonio, 94 in Houston, about 92 in DFW, 95 in McAllen. Heading into Friday, you could see a little cooler along the Red River. Highs back down into the 80s, about 90 DFW, 87 in Tyler. It's still in the 90s, southeastern half of the state of Texas, so no big cold fronts anytime soon, at least over the next 5 days, but, at least we'll get to start looking out over the coming weeks for our first true crashy the cold front situation. And by the way, crashy the cold front is a completely non-meteorological term created by, storm chasers and severe weather forecasters a long time ago to talk about a cold front that just plows south across the risk area, pretty much eliminating a higher risk of severe weather. I just use it in this because usually when I say crashy the cold front, we have a drastic temperature drop, north winds at 50, and, things go crashing around like trash cans, or I guess by this time next month we'll be having to worry about Halloween and fall decorations flying around. Long-range outlook from the Climate Prediction Center over the next 10 days, above average temperatures for Texas and most of the United States, along with average to above average chances for precipitation. We'll have to see if that involves any stormy mischief, but, well, it is September. We're getting into the fall severe weather season, especially as we start seeing some of those cold fronts transition farther south. That'll be it for your Monday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. As always, you can get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radar, daily Texas weather roundups, and more in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. Y'all have an amazing Monday. We'll be back tomorrow with your next Texas Weather Roundup. Have a good day, and God bless.